What's going on, guys? In this video, we're going over bioenergetics and how it can be used to alleviate social anxiety. Be sure to stick around because I'll be doing a demonstration of a technique you can use that'll take about 30 seconds that will completely change the way your social interactions go from here on out. Before we get into that, my name's Keith. I made this channel to help men create their ideal lives through self-mastery. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you don't miss tomorrow's video. Let's get straight into it. All right, before we get straight into the bioenergetics, I do want to explain kind of a life philosophy I have because I don't want to come across like I am the bioenergetics expert. My philosophy on life is a very pragmatic one. I have an objective I'm trying to reach. I want my life to be a certain way, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get there, whether it's weird or unpopular. But I also don't care enough to learn everything about every subject. I just need the subjects to give me the information I need to get the result I want. That's why I have on my channel, I have so many different topics that I can share with you guys that have really helped me out. But on most of them, some of them I am an expert on, but on most of them I just know what I need to know to get a result. So with that said, if you're looking for really advanced understanding of bioenergetics, there are people out there who can give it to you. But if for my purposes and what I needed it for and what I think most of my audience here needs it for, is I think you guys need it so you can get better in social interactions. You can get better at feeling better, just less anxiety, less depression, less stress, and I know exactly what to do to help you with that. But like I said, if you're looking for something super advanced, a scientific understanding of everything to do with bioenergetics, I'm not your guy, but I do want to share this with you because I do actually practice these bioenergetics practices on a daily basis, and they do help me out a lot. So let's get straight into the bioenergetics now. So basically what bioenergetics is, it's about releasing trapped energy in your body. So think about yourself when you're in a stressed situation, or you're anxious, or oftentimes just when you're in a social situation and you feel like uncomfortable talking or you feel tight. Don't you notice how you start to close off more in your body? You kind of huddle over, you take up less space, and when you start to talk, it feels like you're almost like restrained. It's like there's a restrictor plate on your communication. You don't feel this free expression of energy. Well, think about this the same way like a wild animal. Like if a wild animal feels disturbed, it usually like arches its back and it gets up in this like tense stance. But when an animal is like comfortable or relaxed, like maybe if you have a dog, you can relate. If your dog's really relaxed, it rolls over and it's like spread out and it lets you rub its belly and it's very loose through here. Now, the science behind this is that these are your vital organs in here. And when biologically throughout history, when your body found itself in a situation where there was a threat and stress was released, or anxiety or fear or just the fight or flight response was released, the first reaction is we need to protect the vital organs through here. So we huddle over and we're in a more of a tense state. Now in the 21st century, where this isn't really that necessary because most of the time you're not in those situations, it's good that you still have this evolutionary design to like when you get in a bad situation, we do protect our vital organs. That's great, but generally speaking, you don't need that. But a lot of abstract situations cause us to get tense, get tight, and huddle over, essentially like we're in a dangerous situation. And a lot of times social interactions have this effect on people. So what bioenergetics is, it's about loosening up all of this through here, all of this energy. It's the same thing like when you talk about you want to do well in a conversation, or so you always want to get loose, right? Like it's intuitively implied like we want to be loose in a conversation. So what bioenergetics does is it helps you loosen up all of this. And I can tell you, I usually do this right before a video actually, so that I can talk very loosely. Is I will do this exercise I'm getting ready to show you, and I can literally feel myself, like my presence kind of sink into my body, whereas usually I'm a very head oriented person. I overthink things. I have a hard time getting out of my head, and this practice really helps me get out of my head, and I can have very good social interactions when I do it. All right guys, so what you're going to see here is I'm opening my eyes and my mouth as wide as possible, bringing my hands behind my head and stretching my stomach out. You might have a hard time breathing doing this. Your whole body will probably be vibrating when you do it, but you're really loosening yourself up. And again, this is the same thing just with the hands in the lower back to stretch the stomach out more so that you can get more oxygen into the body. So basically what you guys just saw in that demonstration was an exercise called the bow. Now you can do it in two different ways. As you saw there, I did it where I had my hands over my head, and then I also did it where I had my hands balled into the back of my into my lower back, so I could really arch my stomach and really stretch out those muscles. Now, a lot of times people we hold, in particular in our jaw, we'll hold a lot of anger and aggression. That's why, like, if you have a very tight jaw, you have a lot of anger or aggression in there. Also, like in your throat as well, you'll hold a lot of things. The throat has to do with communication, so you can be tight in the throat, and this can also have something to do with your inability to have really good social interactions. And that's why if you experienced while you were doing these exercises, when you try them, a lot of people will experience a hard time breathing, and it's because they're not used to deep breathing, and this exercise opens you up and allows you to breathe deeply when you do it. And so if you found yourself having a hard time breathing, it's because you've got some very tense muscles in your neck or your jaw, sometimes in your stomach, but usually it's your neck primarily. But what we're doing here is we're loosening all this up so you can breathe deep. When you breathe deep, you can get more into a relaxed present state. And I mean, you notice when you're stressed out, your breath gets short, you have a hard time concentrating, you have a hard time engaging in an interaction. So we want to get loose, we want to open all of this up so that you are present and comfortable in the moment. So what I can tell you guys, for me in particular, what I experience when I do this, and you'll probably feel something similar, is I'll get done doing this for about 30 seconds, maybe a minute, and I literally will feel my presence sink into my body. And I'll feel much looser, I'll feel much more comfortable having a conversation because I'm not, in my muscular system, I'm not tense, I'm not tight. And the thing is, we don't really realize we're doing this a lot of times, but we are storing this energy in these like situations, in these parts of our body. We're storing the energy, and it just gets very tight in the body. Also, another one, I don't know a ton of information about this. This is why I didn't get deep into this, and also this video is more about the social anxiety side. But a lot of times, if you have lower back pain and you can't really figure it out, I actually had this for a while. Lower back pain can have to do with sexual issues, not something really bad, but like, I mean, I think I had it when I had a porn-induced ED, and when I had a porn addiction going on, I would have lower back issues from time to time. Like, my lower back would just seize up and be very tight, and it's because like a lot of the energy that has to do with sex is in your lower back kind of area. That's what they talk about, like the lower chakras, if you're into the chakra system as well. So your lower back can get tight from that. Your solar plexus area has to do with like confidence and grounding, which is why if that's tight, you're going to have a hard time standing up for yourself. You're going to have a hard time being comfortable and being yourself in a social interaction, because that's the area that grounds you and makes you feel kind of like you and feel like your own mental point of origin, essentially. And then your ability to communicate is going to be in the jaw and in the neck. So what we're doing through these exercises is we're loosening all that up. And depending on where you need the most work will determine whether or not it will be better for you to perform the first demonstration of the exercise where I have my hands above my head, or the second one where you ball your hands into your back and stretch your stomach more. If you need to stretch your stomach more, it's just affecting different parts of you. You can kind of gut feeling tell when you do this which one really helps you more. I find that the biggest part of this, though, even more than the stomach, is to loosen up the face. So as you'll see in the video, but it's not that great, so I'll demonstrate now. But basically what you're doing is you're stretching the muscles in your face as much as you possibly can, and it just lets that energy out. It's basically like if you're stretching for an exercise, like you loosen the body up. Well, we're just stretching for different purposes when we do this. But as you'll see in the video, I'll demonstrate right now. Like what I'm doing basically when I'm doing this, I am opening up my eyes as big as possible. I'm stretching that out, and then I'm also stretching out my jaw as much as possible, just as much as possible, and then I'm breathing deep. So we're getting the oxygen into the body and we're stretching out the muscles. And I'm telling you guys, like, this seems like such a weird thing to do, but like I said, I'm a pragmatist. I'll do whatever works. And to me, this is the best thing I've found for like in the moment, split second, getting myself into a comfortable situation. Like if I'm about to go to a social situation and I'm feeling kind of uncomfortable, I might go to the bathroom for a minute and just go in the stall real quick and do this, go back out, and I'll have a great time the rest of the night. But this is a really great like on the spot thing to do to really help you get into the present moment and help you have great interactions and loosen up. There's also tons of other benefits to bioenergetics. Like I said, if you want to learn more about this, it's actually a form of psychology that a lot of therapists will use to release like traumatic events which will be stored in your body, in your posture. Like you can look at somebody and you can tell that something about their posture, like you can tell something about how they're feeling based on their posture, that is. So like if you see someone hunched over with their shoulders slouched, you can kind of tell this person's maybe in a depressed state or they're low on confidence. Whereas you see someone chest out, feeling confident, you can look at that and tell like this person's confident, this person feels good about themselves, and that actually has a biological response in the body depending on the hormones that you release. Your posture is very important for how you feel on a daily basis, but so it kind of plays like a symbiotic cycle essentially. Like if you're hunched over and all these things, you're going to continue to produce the hormones that cause you to feel worse about yourself. Whereas you adjust, do the bioenergetics, or just get your posture right, you will change your entire state and how you feel by doing that. But the point I'm trying to make with that, guys, is that basically if you've been through something traumatic in your life that has caused you to maybe have a self-image in a certain way, it will demonstrate itself through your body. And some therapists, and you can figure this out on your own if you're really into this, will use bioenergetics to kind of release that traumatic experience, that tension from the body, and it can have major impacts on the way your life happens moving forward. But guys, that's all I got for this video. If you got something out of it, leave me a like so I can reach more guys with my message. Also, be sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you tomorrow.